very much. Alright, hello everyone in License-thon. We are back with SpongeBob's Truth or Square on the PlayStation Portable. I am orionytp. I hold the current world record of this game with a 2751, and here on commentary with me...
I'm actual Chatterteeth. I was like the first person to really speedrun this game, and watching it grow and the stuff that people like Orion and others have gotten is kind of insane. So I really hope you guys enjoy this run. It's nutty. It's so nutty.
Yeah, this game is quite a treat. It's not a good game casually. This is, if you've played the version on 360 or Wii, this game has a lot of the similar levels and similar graphics, but the physics and gameplay style are very different. So, and it's very scuffed and very fun, and I think you will all be in for a very special treat. So, I'm gonna erase this file here, begin a new game, and
time's gonna start when he says X for Yi.
Yeah. So, time will begin in 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright, sick. So this game is based off of the Truth or Square special, and for those that don't know what that is, it was basically this special where SpongeBob's going back through all of his memories because he lost the Krusty Krabby Patty secret formula, and he doesn't know where he last put it since Mr. Krabs let him hold on to it. So you're kind of just going through your memories and trying to remember where to put it. It brings us through levels like Jellyfish Field, we go into Rock Bottom, we go into the Mermalair, a bunch of different cool locations. It mimics all the levels from the console version of the game, but also adds to that the console version had to cut, which is Bikini Bottom and, was it Krusty Krab?
Yep, Krusty Krab was the other cut level.
I'm not too versed on the console version, so I'm like, eh.
So now we actually have control, but you didn't even know it because of Chatter's great commentary. We have to basically just progress through all the levels, getting various keys to help us access certain things. Combat in this game is very nuanced. You can't just like go up and smack enemies because sometimes they'll just tank your hits and become invincible. So I stay like as far back as I can and hit them in the air to do slightly more damage.
Yeah, for some reason, it's not like this in the console version, but in the PSP version, if you use your little spatula attack while you're in the air, it just does more damage and can one-hit kill those robots instead of two-hit, which the grounded spatula would do.
There will be quite a few PSP moments.
Yeah. So coming up here, we really have like the first like skip. So typically you're supposed to kill these robots. You can unlock a box and move that jellyfish container. So you can jump over to the other side and hit the button. We're just going to jump on that box and jump over an invisible wall that's keyword trying to stop us.
Ooh. This game is very weird with how it interacts with geometry. Sometimes it'll either give you increased height or shrink your height.
You'll see a lot of Ryan will like rub against up edges, and it'll either like put him up or put him down. We meet a couple of friends who also run this game. Commonly refer to that in any game as just getting tossed PSP'd. So it's really awesome.
So the first level is probably the longest level in the run just because our moveset is very limited right now. All we really have to work with is moving and using this spatula slam attack. But even with that limited moveset, a lot of this level can be skipped because the devs we don't really do a lot of wall clips per se. It's just this game just doesn't have a lot of geometry and is really bad at trying to keep you from locking out of certain places. Like normally we would have to go through that slide here, but you can just literally just jump around the side of this ship and just go out of bounds. It is so easy to get out of bounds in this game.
So we're gonna casually skip this entire platforming section, like jumping through the ground. The devs of this game, Barking Lizards, really knew how to put invisible walls where they weren't needed and not put walls where they were needed. So.
Oh, Barking Lizards.
Very fortunate. The console versions are developed by Heavy Iron Studios, so it's not the same studio that made both, but they are not one-to-one, but if you look at the levels, they do follow the same exact like structure and set pieces. So it's kind of interesting.
Need to make a quick detour to get a buff power-up, SpongeBob's gonna get jacked.
Yeah. Just kind of rub against this rock real quick, and it decides to give SpongeBob height, so you can just go up there, and we need buff so we can get this switch over here. So for those familiar with the console version of this game, they'll know that the fastest form of movement is actually jumping and spinning with the buff, but no such speed gain is given from spinning with the buff in this version, so we don't try to psych me out. Wow. Yeah, we don't try to spin with that in this version. It just makes it slower.
I scared Chatter because you can in fact skip really this slide, but it is very difficult, and if you fall at all, you don't get like teleported back. You have to quit and redo the level, so it's basically an insta reset.
Yeah, really not fun. Cool that it exists, but you know, other than that.
At the end of the level, we just have to kill 25 of these robots, and then we'll be able to spawn in the happiness object, which triggers the end of the level.
Cool. Thankfully, the robots in this version, in the console version, they spawn at like 5 preset points, like that make a large pentagon. But in this, they just kind of spawn next to each other, so just pull back and forth.
And once we collect the happiness object, we don't really have to do anything else. We don't have to wait for his animation. We could just leave, and it'll trigger the next level, Kelp Forest.
Yeah, the moment we get the happiness object is the moment the game senses we have the happiness object, so we don't have to wait through his animation, or we don't have to wait through like the ending card and whatnot. Which is really fortunate.
So now that we're in the next level, we get an upgrade to our moveset, the spin move, and now that we have more options to work with, we can do a lot more.
Yeah, it'll be really nice. It lets us get a little more airtime, which is super, super nice, considering the spatula just instantly grounds us.
So we have the spin move, which allows us to hit these robots while they're invincible. And when you hit an invincible robot in the air, you have like a quarter of a second to get your double jump back. And that essentially is the main tech of the game, is just triple jumps.
Yeah, it's something you can do off of a lot of different objects. Later you're going to see we'll be doing it off of a buff power-up in this level.
Got another...
It just kind of regains his state. Ooh, I'll be quiet with this.
Oh boy. There we go.
Nice.
Yeah, that triple jump is significantly harder, but it is still just as cool.
Yeah, and then if you remember how slow sliding was in Jellyfish Fields, we're just going to try to not do that as much as we can. Stuff.
Kelp is quite a significant difficulty spike compared to Jellyfish Fields in the speedrun, but it's very cool, so it makes up for it.
Well, considering you're not doing slide 2 skip, you are... Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not doing slide 2 skip. Nor am I doing this trick. Normally, we would actually go out of bounds to skip this tunnel section, but it is also really difficult and easy to fall off. Marathon safety, am I right?
No. Sorry. So coming up here, we just have a few enemies to kill. We did avoid these hammer things, spinning hammers, I guess. I don't know. We're not gonna see a lot of, I guess, huge level skips until we get to the next level, Bikini Bottom. Which, in that case, well, you'll see when you get there. It's kind of, we get a whole new movement option.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And what's supposed to be a stationary ability.
Yeah, you think this game's broken now? You have no idea, but we will get to that once we reach the next level. Gonna save a little bit of time with a little cutscene skip.
The out of bounds clip. So getting in here, we're usually supposed to hit all these buttons, whatnot, but as we said earlier, we can just get another jump off of this buff power-up, grabbing it, which lets us get 3 jumps instead of 2, and get up to this spinny platform.
The camera doesn't really like being enclosed in that corner, so I have to be very careful with my movement.
Camera in this game is very solid. It does a lot to just get stuck. Probably the most similar thing to its console counterpart is the camera just not wanting to cooperate half the time.
Ignore Sandy grunting like a maniac in the background.
Yeah. She's kind of, busy. So this is going to be something similar to... would this be similar to the robot spin, I suppose?
I mean, it involves spinning.
Yeah, so... I don't know how to explain it. Orion's going to take some damage here with buff, and he's just going to get his jump back in the air, so we can skip whatever puzzle or combat we had to do over there.
It has nothing to do with the buff. You literally just spin into the goo, and it just gives you a double jump.
It just gives it to you, let's go.
Just gives it to you. That's called a goo spin, where you just spin into the goo. And the fact that you spin into it gives it a little bit extra height, rather than just touching it and getting slightly pushed. Almost done with Kelp here, gotta deal with the yellow submarine.
So I just took a peek in chat, and yeah, this game kind of has the music in both the console version and this version of the game are recycled from previous games made by Heavy Iron Studios, so SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom and the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. But this one's on the PSP, so they kind of just shortened all the songs to like 25 seconds.
Yeah.
So thankfully, most levels are really fast past this, because then we don't have to listen to the music too much.
Here's where things get interesting. I'll let Chatter explain this.
Alright, so we get a new ability. You typically get this in the next level, Fry Cooking, on the console version, but on the PSP version, we get the cannon. And what getting the cannon does is letting us use it in air refreshes our jump as long as we're standing still while using it, and jump near the end of the animation. And so we can infinitely jump using the cannonball. It's restricting in the point that the max amount of ammo we can have is 12, so it at least still leads to interesting routing and whatnot, considering the amount of shots that we have. But it is super insane. And so from the beginning of the level, we kind of just flew to the right, and now we're at the final section of the level.
Which is nice, because this is probably one of the worst levels casually and one of the longest.
Definitely. This trick is especially cool because we have a way without cannon jumping to get over to this area where we just collected the key. We have a way to do that without cannon jumping, but you need to activate the stuff in the area that Orion cannon jumps to before anything here is active, and you can collect the end level happiness object. So having this skipped for this level finally happen is super cool.
Even before cannon jumping, this game still had quite a few skips, but cannon jumping just helps make them a lot more accessible and just make the movement really sick.
Yeah, it cracked this game wide open. It's kind of crazy. So now we're heading into the first boss, which is Robert Patrick.
Robo Patrice.
So Downset at Night, we're just fighting Robo Patrick, and this boss is essentially hitting him in a weak point, clearing a wave of enemies, and then rinse and repeat 2 times, or I guess 3 times to finish him off. Nothing super spectacular here. This fight is mainly just optimizing the rotations you make around the map to go destroy the robots as fast as you can.
I would try to... you can kill these spinner enemies with the cannon shot, but it's really risky because they can reflect it back. I will kill these guys with the cannon jump.
The moment that spinner enemies will reflect cannon shots, as Orion said, but the moment, the frame that they start aggroing you, is the moment that they are allowed to reflect shots. It's not just the moment they spin, it's the moment they notice you.
Oh, yeah.
So it's really risky to just shoot them with the cannon shots.
Yeah, that's why I usually never do it, or sometimes I do it because maybe this time I'll get lucky. No.
Also, we should say that SpongeBob's eyelids being like that is not a fault of the way that Orion's playing the game. That is just how the game displays SpongeBob when he's in his buff mode. There's just clear crevices through where his eyelid should be.
So much scuff.
SpongeBob has holes, right? Thanks, Broken Wizards.
Yeah, but that's part of the charm of this game.
Yeah, that's true. It's a lot of the charm of this game is the fact that they took this whole console experience and shrunk it down onto a portable console.
So some of the more astute PSP connoisseurs will probably recognize that this is not original hardware. We do play this on emulator.
Yeah, most common way to play the game.
I'm never gonna live that down, am I? I took that description down and I'm still getting flack for it.
Yeah, so I guess while we're doing nothing in this boss, under resources, I think it was Orion put a link to PPSSPP with describes the most common way to play the game. And I'm sitting in call with Hoon Goons. Shout out to Hoon, great guy. He's the one who found cannon jumping.
Yeah, shouts to Hoon.
We're sitting in call and I see that and I'm like, dude, I really want to just post PSP console and a link to PlayStation Portable on eBay and say the least common way to play the game, and Hoon did it and could not stop laughing for half an hour. This is the dumbest thing ever.
Speaking of dumb things.
Oh, this level. So Orion's gonna get another jump off of the goo and cannon jump over a giant invisible wall right at the beginning of the level.
Nice.
Nice.
Very tough.
It uses every single jump. I mean, every single cannonball, so if you don't do it exactly right, kind of screwed.
Uh-oh.
And nice, another...
Okay, I have to be really careful.
Another bounce. Yeah, Orion needs to not die heading up to this invincibility power. Ooh, that was close on that one enemy. Alright. And so, now again, we're near the end of the level. You might see a theme here.
Yeah, a lot of these levels are designed so the end wraps back from the start. Fortunate for us.
With a lot of the level being loaded in on a small console, especially being disc-based. Very, very fortunate for us, yeah. Agreed. Now, this is just the final section of the level. Hit these buttons and we're home free. Oh yeah, this level, does a lot of things with these cannons and buttons. I mean, you don't get to see it, but this is the theme of the level.
I'm gonna go for it. I got it.
Wow.
Yeah, you can reflect the shots and just hit the button like that. I usually don't do it in runs, but I thought it would be nice to show it off in the marathon, and I got it.
I'm just shocked that you got the angle.
Oh wow, I golded Fry Cook. That was really good.
Let's go.
Time for the
shot, dude.
Time for the great equalizer Santa. That's not an emulator bug. The Squidward is just like that.
He's just transparent. The power of the PlayStation Portable, really. So we're only gonna be skipping half the level at this part, but then we'll skip the other half in just a second. So don't worry too much. So I'll let Orion do his can jump if I don't wanna.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
This level isn't too bad.
Well, the execution of this level isn't too bad. This level has one of the few elements of RNG in the game. We're going to be running into this boss at the end that will just keep on trying to hit Orion, and we really don't get to decide when it leaves itself open for attack. So we just have to hope that it's going to attack us sooner than later. This is definitely a run killing.
Tenderizer moment. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Okay.
Takes 4 hits. 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay.
8, 9, 10.
Okay.
11.
This is really good, actually.
12, 13, 14, 15. Come on.
Ending isn't as great.
Okay.
16, 17? That's not bad.
That's not horrible.
Yeah, very, very kind to us. Sometimes
I've had way worse.
Way too many. Yeah, you could get double that in a run, and you're just like, well, I guess I'll continue for practice. Kind of just screwed at that point.
Well, this level is
is a very interesting level. So again, if you know the console version, this is the level where they do what's called level skip glitch to skip the rest of the levels in the game with the end level happiness object cutscene. We don't really have that here, but what we do have is restricted infinite jumps. So
Nice.
12 can later, and we're at the end of the level.
That wall is very thin that I just walked on. Marmalade is very easy to choke.
It's deceptive. Mm-hmm. It's another one of those like 12 can and 11 can jumps where if you really mess up one or two, you're just screwed. And dying doesn't give you all your cannonballs back, if I'm correct, so you'd have to reload the level if you realistically want to try that again.
Yeah, cannon jumping is really easy going for distance. Going for height, it's really tough. Okay. Oh my. How did I not get hit?
That's what I was thinking. So this is Robo Squidward. He's a little wonky in how we have to hit him, but it's not too bad once you learn it.
Go. Wait, go. Wait, go. That was almost too late. Like, still got it.
Typically, Squidward kind of...
I tried to knock myself back into the gumball.
Nice. Typically, Squidward's supposed to try to actually, like, basically play peekaboo with us with his hitbox there, but time it just right, he kind of falls to us. Very clean, though. Very, very clean. SpongeBob doing a little dancey dance as well, yeah.
The D-pad dance. Ah!
Yeah.
24 hours at the Krusty Krab is so much fun.
This is a great level, honestly. It was a great level before can jumping as well.
Yeah, so now I'm gonna be conserving my cannon jumps until the very end, so that way I can conserve them all to do a very large skip that requires all 12 of my cannon jumps.
For a little bit before that, though, we kind of did a similar out of bounds. Again, you can do it a similar one in the console version, but we go behind the houses there because, again, barking lizards don't like putting walls where they're needed, and we kind of skip half the level via that, which brings us into this section.
The whole route itself is called Fast 24.
Yeah. It's very tight in terms of the different, because all of these are going to be on a cycle, so even getting a little slow, maybe just one laser beam will be...
I love how it's playing the kelp forest music in the rock bottom level.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, this is more of a fun rock bottom than Battle for Bikini Bottoms, just with the colors and everything. Dang.
Yeah. I tried to skip. Oh.
No.
Oh my god, I keep...
No, what?
Alright, I'm gonna wait until I know where I'm walking. Yeah, you can actually trigger that cutscene multiple times. And it's so... I've never done that before, that is so silly.
So yeah, in this whole room we're supposed to absorb water, SpongeBob, and raise those platforms for us, but we can kind of just jump up using this Puff Tiki. Again, what is really unique about this level, among the later levels, is that all of this stuff we're doing without cannon jumping. Because we're conserving our cannons for this. So do you want me to explain it while you're doing it, or would you rather me be quiet so you can focus?
Yeah, you can explain it.
Alright, so later in the level when you finish the puzzle that you're supposed to be doing in this area, this whole arena drops, you fight some enemies, and you pick up the happiness object. Well, that arena is stored in the sky, and the happiness object is also stored in the sky. Very nice! So cannon jumping up there lets us grab the happiness object, skipping any kind of puzzles or combat in the lower section.
Love 24 hours. I was so stoked.
That was clean.
That
really
was such a stoke find when I saw like the arena up in the ceiling, and I'm like, I wonder if you could reach it. And when I was so happy when I just found the happiness object just right there.
Just sitting there like, oh hey, you come here all chilling. So it might seem a little obvious, but that cabin there is the end of the level. So
From the start to the end.
Yeah, we have a little boss to fight here though, so that's fun.
Thankfully, unlike the tenderizer, it's not as RNG dependent for time. Apologies for your ears.
The bit crushed PSP audio, delicious. You can almost taste it.
So, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. I'm just watching this. I'm like, yeah, I haven't done this boss in quite some time. I will say, so we're only collecting the end level happiness objects in this category. There are like 3 per level that you can get, which you can all get in your first run through, as opposed to, I believe, console version, you can only get the end level one in your first run through the level. And so that's in a category called all happiness objects, which, especially for this level, makes it like very interesting. Type of routing you have to do.
No.
All right. You want to speak about this one, or you want me to?
Yeah, vent skip is the like
Well, the level
only
in general.
actual like ceiling clip we do, and I'm actually surprised I got that. It's easy, but nobody. I don't understand how it works. Every time I think I do, I just get proven wrong. You can explain this.
Okay, so in this level where there's this robot SpongeBob that chases around 3 different forms of the Krusty Krab. And of course, those 3 different forms of the Krusty Krab aren't the same Krusty Krab, like changing into different forms. It's actually just different parts on the same map. Unfortunate.
It was my fault. I didn't walk off enough.
You're good.
Alright, so I fell, so I have to redo the level. It's okay.
Yeah, to get back. It's very rough, but honestly, in this level, it's not too bad since it's right near the beginning.
Here we go.
So we just kind of jump to a later Krusty Krab, which this is honestly one of the coolest tricks, I think, in the run, at least for me. It's just the idea of just jumping out of bounds into this infinite void just to find this other Krusty Krab is just super interesting. Dang. It's
tough.
Very, very hard. So, might take a couple tries here, but
it happens.
It will prevail. Yeah.
What sucks is I have to keep redoing vent skip.
Honestly, we don't super know how that skip works. It just kind of either wants to cooperate or not. And honestly, it's pretty cooperative this run, considering.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised.
Yeah, sometimes I can just sit there,
bang my head
against the wall over it. All right, good luck.
There we go.
Nice, very nice.
So I wanted to conserve at least 1 cannon shot. You can easily make it with 12, but I wanted to conserve at least 1 for this Krusty Krab coming up.
And what's nice about how we entered that Krusty Krab is we don't have to exit through the kitchen, which means we don't actually have to start all the combat there. So we both skip the previous Krusty Krab. Or no, we skipped that Krusty Krab through that. And then, as you saw last time, the back areas of the Krusty Krab aren't really the most solid, as shown with the little vent skip we did. So with a single cannon jump, we can kind of just get to the top here.
See how I kind of got stuck in the door? That was very weird.
I don't know. House PSP moment. We have this little joke just in the Heavy Iron SpongeBob community, where just like the games are just so very weirdly made at some points, or like Heavy Iron moment. Which, this is close enough, you know. The
Barking Lizards
made
moment.
By Heavy Iron. Barking Lizards moment. And so this is the actual only part of 24 hours. Not 24 hours, just the Krusty Krab that we're going to have to do.
Honestly, other than Krusty Krab, this has been a really good run in terms of, like, execution. I really haven't, like, gotten any,
And the RNG of Santa was pretty good, so...
Yeah, Santa RNG was...
It was fine.
Average.
Surfaceable.
We have to fight this boss again. Thank God we don't have to fight the Santa boss again.
That would be not fun. We've never really had to fight the Santa enemies in this level as well. There's something to do without having to cannon jump, where you just kind of jump up there as well. One unique thing about this level is that we don't quit the level when we get the happiness object, or else it actually won't count it. We have to wait till the camera pans to robot SpongeBob before we quit the level.
Why did they program it like it? I don't know. Ask Barking Lizards.
Wanted to make sure to say that before Orion went and accidentally did it.
Oh, yeah.
I could imagine.
Pulling a cornbread.
Damn. Shout out to Cornbread Muffins. Good man.
Yeah. Yeah. Cornbread was... Watching Cornbread's world record run was what got me into this speed run. He's very hype.
He is super chill, dude. So we're heading into the final level here. Which is this giant Roboplankton who I believe at this point in the story he has the formula, or he thinks he knows where the formula is and he's heading there.
Yeah.
Since this game is really Plankton just laying SpongeBob down in a bed with him asleep and just going through his memories essentially. Very, very strange. Very SpongeBob humor in terms of it being like, oh, it's happy, cheery, but it's also really dark to think that SpongeBob was just kidnapped and brought into a lab for his memories to be looked through. Yeah, so we're going to have 3 different phases of this where we wait for this pod to kind of just do its thing. We're going to go in, kill some enemies, and tear away the heart.
Nope.
After 3 times the heart, it just kind of gets destroyed.
You're
what do you mean, no?
You're thinking of console. You remember this?
Yeah, wait, what's that up there? And that's time. So the end level happiest object they kind of just threw in the middle of the arena. And it just kind of sits there. So that's game.
20, still a sub 30 minutes, even with that Krusty Krab. That was a pretty decent run.
Yeah, with that, that's SpongeBob's Truth or Square on the PSP.
And thank you so much, Chad, for helping me out. Hang on here.
Of course, good stuff on the run. Can't believe this guy.
While we're watching the ending here, I want to give a shout out to some of the other runners like Cornbread, Crash Koala, Hoon Goons who found cannon jumping, some of the old school runners like Sam, aka Bubble Bass, Baz. Who am I forgetting? You have anyone you want to shout
out? Just the Truth or Square community in general.
Yeah.
Regarding both PSP and console. There's some great names in the console community like Jaxler, Jackalaka, Smiley, Exotic Spawn. A lot of great people there as well. Yeah, big shout outs, as Orion already said, to the earlier runners of this game. So like Cornbread, Bazralian, and Sam, or Bubble Bass. Very, very cool to see them stick it out, especially Cornbread, who still has the second place time in this game. Keeps a very, very good time.
Yeah, Cornbread is an absolute unit. Well, I hope you all enjoyed the experience that can only be found with Truth or Square on the PlayStation Portable.
Experience is the right word.
Experience,
Yeah.
It is exactly the right word. Once again, I am orionytp.
I'm an actual chatter teeth, I guess, yeah.
And we are signing off. Toss PSP moment.
Barking lizards. Ooh. Good stuff.